Welcome to All About the Girls. I'm your host, Jenny Craig Brown, here with a podcast that's all about empowering stories, laughter, and inspiration. Each episode, we dive into the lives of incredible women who share their journeys, passions, and unique qualities that make them shine. This podcast is your year-round pass to connect with the inspiring stories that make our community and our world a better place. So grab your coffee or your wine, settle in, and let's celebrate strength, spirit, and stories of amazing women.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of All About the Girls, the podcast. Joining me today is a lovely woman I'm so excited to introduce, Dr. Regina Beard, founder of Victory for Kids.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to talk more. I want to dive into, of course, Victory for Kids, the group, what it means, what you guys all do, your focus. But let's kind of first dive into that overall, what's your story in a nutshell? And then we'll dive into all of those individual pieces.
So started off, I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer that had 2 kids by the age of 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
So here I am, 2 kids, didn't know what to do. Do I go up? Do I go down? What do I become in life? And the funny part is my father actually told me he wanted me to become a nurse. When I was 14 years old, a freshman at Andrean High School, he said, "You need to become a nurse, Regina." I was like, what you talking about, Dad? He said, "You need to become the nurse that put the patients to sleep." I said, "Dad, what is that called?" He said, "Look it up." And back then we didn't have a computer. So
this is encyclopedia.
So I had to go look it up. And it was a nurse anesthetist. So I had an assignment. I went down to Gary Methodist and I talked with the nurse anesthetist. She outlined exactly what a nurse anesthetist was, how much they made $80,000 a year back then, and all the wonderful things. So what I did was I then said, I'm going to become a nurse anesthetist. At the time, St. Anthony had a program where you can go there after school. If you want to go into healthcare careers, you can go there and learn more about them. I think it was like once a month. And it was really, really nice. So then I failed biology and I said, nursing, not for me. So I said, I'm going to become a teacher. And I said, you know what? I'm going to impact somebody's life. I'm going to become a teacher. But here I am now, 20 years old, 2 kids. And I'm like, what do? I got to feed the kids. You know, where do I go from here?
Absolutely.
And I always say that my journey started backwards, meaning that I actually did go to school. I'm a nurse by trade. Okay. But I also did teach. I was professor at VU and also Ivy Tech.
Okay.
So I always say that I'm a dreamer first. You know, I have dreamed these things and I have lived my dreams, and it's a tremendous blessing.
And I love that you see that, because that's something that I think often folks, everybody, you get in your own head.
Correct.
And you're on the journey. And so you're not taking any time to sort of look at the outcome of what you've already accomplished.
Correct.
And we don't give ourselves enough credit because of that sometimes. So I love that you're already seeing some of that as young as you are. That's a great thing to look at.
And I think you brought up a key word there, journey. You know, I found myself early on getting frustrated about my journey, only to realize all the lessons about saving money, how to manage money. It wasn't at the destination. At the destination, I was expected to know how to manage money. It was about along the journey. The journey taught me life skills. The journey prepared me to even sit before you and have this conversation with you. But it had nothing to do with my destination. And oftentimes we find ourselves getting frustrated, worked up, depressed, you know, suicidal because of the journey, instead of realizing the journey is just that. It's all about learning. So when you get to the destination, you can maintain the destination.
That's amazing. So you've done the nursing, you've done some teaching, and it sounds like most of that motivation came from your dad.
It did.
And he just said, this is a really good idea. You should do this. And you're like, hey, you're right. That's interesting. A lot of people almost rebel a little, like, my dad said this, so I will do the opposite. But you really took that.
I did.
That's really intelligent, especially for 14 or, you know, whatever that age was.
And, you know, looking back, I think we don't realize sometimes as parents, or better yet, role models, the role we play in people's lives. You know, we have the power to direct them if we're saying it in a loving and kind manner. Now, if he would have hit me over my head, I wouldn't be sitting here probably as a nurse, you know, and he wasn't gentle about it. He sounded real sure, like, you're going to become the nurse to put the patients to sleep. And that right there alone got my attention. Like, who put the patients to sleep. So I had to look it up, and that's how I ended up here.
And then looking it up, same thing, the research and
Correct.
having him say, go look it up, and you doing so.
Correct.
It's almost like that was the start of your own journey with it. So then you can accept it as your own idea a little bit more because you're doing the research and you're seeing all of that kind of come out and go, oh, actually, I do like that.
Correct. The
That is
curiosity.
a great idea. Yeah,
You know,
he created that a little bit in you.
He sparked that
Smart.
in me. And it was, my father was a very wise man. I won't dive into him. He passed in 2015, but he was very wise. You know, our other companies are because of him. You know, we founded Victory Training because I was taking care of him. And I started thinking about how can I give back to my community on a budget. So we started CNA training back in 2015. You know, we gave away free classes. The class was also $375, all because I wanted to answer the question, how can I give back to my community? We did the home care company, Victory at Home 2020, and it was all the same question. What can I do? What answer can I be? And I thought about my father. You know, when I took care of my father, it was really all about me trusting someone to come into my house, trusting them in the most intimate time, because right now I'm not a nurse. I'm a daughter and a mother.
You're a family member of the patient.
Correct. So I remember that. So I desired to create a company where someone can trust us. Someone can trust that, okay, they have lived through this. They understand what's going on with me, and they will do their best to invest their time and their resources with my family.
Yeah. And I think that's well said, because I think I keep hearing, and I've heard for years, and I think probably 10 years ago, I heard the day that you focus on what you can give to others is the day that you're successful. And I think 10 years ago, I was like, no, the more I sell, the more money I make. And now I know, of course, being smarter and older and all those things, that is absolutely true. It's more based on when you try to give to others, because that is fulfilling in your heart. And then I think the world gives back, right? So we were talking about this kind of giving back, being your point of success. How do you define success for you?
Ooh.
I would say in career and personal life and career life.
I think that success is different for each person. And the best way I define success is by the age of 40, I had accomplished all of my professional goals. I have worked at the University of Chicago Medicine. I worked at Ivy Tech VU, the hospitals. I traveled the country, all by the age of 40. And right now in this season, the way I define success is my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, and what I give back to the community. Because it does no good for me to have accumulated a lot in my lifetime, and my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren have to go through some of the same struggles I went through. So as far as professional, it will be what I give back to the community. Okay. You know, and how I give back and how often, you know, am I going to be at the doctor's appointment in, let's say 50 years from now, somebody going to walk in, a doctor, and I became a doctor because of this expo I went to. Where was it at? Lake County. That was our event. You know, that right there is success. So I also realized that some success, I may not see a return on investment until down the road.
Okay. Well said. That's amazing. So tell us now, as we kind of get into that career and life, work life, I think probably starting at what your career looks like now, but also I think tying that into, tell us a little bit about Victory for Kids for those that don't know. Okay. And then bring that. So if you could start by telling us a little bit about Victory for Kids, and then sort of what your career is today and how you got there.
Awesome. Excuse me. Victory for Kids is a nonprofit organization. Our goal is to create a zeal for youth ages 5 to 17 to pursue healthcare careers. And you may be thinking, why? So my why is 2 reasons. A, during the pandemic, I was on the front line, and I realized the need for healthcare professionals, not just nurses, not just doctors, but EKG techs. I realized the need for echo tech, you know, and other healthcare professionals. So I began to wonder, what's the reason students not going into these career paths? And I realized it was simply because of the fact that they don't know about them. We have hospitals in almost every corner of Northwest Indiana. But when people look at them, they think about the doctor or the nurse.
And that's it.
And that's it. However, we need administration. We need the x-ray tech. We need the ultrasound tech, physical therapist. It's so many people inside of that big building, But we have a generation that's not choosing healthcare careers due to the fact that they feel as if they don't want to be a doctor or a nurse.
And that's it. And if they don't have a parent saying, hey, you should do this thing, or did you know this opportunity is out there like that, like you had with your dad, I think that you don't know. And why would you? And then you just automatically veer to another direction.
Correct.
Really smart. So you're trying to fix that issue, educating them young, and then bringing them up to know about this throughout time.
Correct. I'm trying to be that adult. At least I am being that adult that I needed as a child.
Well said. I love
needed someone as a child to walk me through the process. Do you want to be a nurse or a physical therapist? Looking back, probably could have went physical therapy. I don't even know if my father even thought about physical therapy at that time because he wasn't in the healthcare arena.
Right. So same thing. He doesn't know all of these different outlets and opportunities. And now that you've sort of learned them through your career, you can hopefully pull other kids, young kids into that stuff.
Yes.
Well done. That is amazing. So you mentioned a little bit about Victory for Kids, and you mentioned earlier about Victory Training and those other outlets through Victory. What are those, and what have you built through time? And then what of those are still in process or in the works right now? What are you still using?
Great question. So our foundational company is actually Victory Training.
Okay.
Very first company, we launched it in 2014, and we're a healthcare career training institution.
Okay.
CNAs, QMAs, medical assistants, phlebotomies, EKG tech, and dental assistant.
So those folks that you're trying to build up, kids that you're trying to build into these positions, now you're going to help train them.
Correct.
Lovely.
Yes.
So that was probably, I would assume, the start of the company was there because you saw that gap.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Really smart.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I love this.
And then after that was Victory at Home. So Victory at Home is our home care company. We go out into the people's houses and we take care of them, whether or not it's adults or kids. But it's another means of giving back to this community and being that person that I needed. Because as I stated earlier, when I was taking care of my father, I had to trust someone that they can come in and hear all my secrets. Because mind you, it's me, myself, and my children taking care of my father. So there was a lot of things going on in the household, a lot of disagreements. Let's just be honest.
They're going to see all of that.
They're going to see all of that, but I had to be okay with that and had to know that these people is safe. This is my life. There's no other way that I can truly take care of my father and have help without having this intimate portion of my life being shared.
Amazing. So, and all three are still in use and still running today?
All three.
That's incredible. And tell me your role in all of those. Obviously, that's probably an unanswerable question to some extent, but tell us what your career looks like within those today.
Wonderful question. I'm the janitor. Okay, I'm the janitor. I'm the housekeeper. I'm the receptionist. And I do a lot of mentoring our employees, so that's really important to me. Day-to-day operations, I still have my hand in about a good 25% in Victory at Home. Victory Training, I don't really do a lot with. We have a coordinator that does that. Most of my time is spent with Victory for Kids, out meeting people, learning people, spreading the knowledge about our companies, gathering people for our expos. That's really important. We have an expo. Well, when this air, it'll be already happened. We have 1,000 students signed up for the high school day. And that's just one day coming in, learning about healthcare careers. So now my job for the next 3 weeks until the expo is making sure that every piece of it runs smoothly.
Okay.
Making sure that the moment that the students, the teachers, the counselors hit the door, it's an experience that they won't ever forget. Whether or not it's just one thing or whether or not it's multiple things, but need to be one thing that happens in a positive way that they would never forget.
Wow. What a great way to look at it, and a great goal to have for all of those kids. And do you partner with local healthcare entities for that expo?
So great question. I've been very fortunate, not just healthcare entities, but also the CTE directors, continuing technical education. So the people that, like, for example, in Porter County is Porter County Career and Technical Education.
We work with them as well.
Alder Peterson. She's one of my favorite community partners.
Yes.
And we also partner with Tim Summers in, I think it's South Lake County.
Okay.
It's South Lake County. Mr. Phelps at Maryville High School.
Yeah.
We go as far to Michigan City, and we partner with Miss Catherine Brotnick. So we have a lot of CTE partners, but also we have all the hospitals, we partner with all the hospitals in the region, along with all the universities. So we have Calumet College of St. George that will be there, Ivy Tech, IUN, VU, Dr. Allen, missing someone. I said Ivy Tech, PNW. Yeah, so it's an amazing 3-day event. My deans at my colleges have been phenomenal. The Crystal Shannon, Mrs. Philbin from Ivy Tech, they all have been phenomenal. PNW Dean, it has been.
That's fantastic. And to have that support as you go in, it probably feels really good because you're like, again, it's that reiteration of we're giving back and it's in the right and the needed way.
Correct. University of St. Francis is another one of our partners.
Oh, yeah. Great.
And she is amazing. Julie Gardner. That's her name. She is an amazing individual. She went running a great program. Our very first expo, they was on vacation. They came and set up tables. I was like, you all are doing this for us. And I was really excited. So the support from the deans, the colleges and the hospitals and the CTE directors have been phenomenal.
Oh, that's great to hear. And you're bringing this now to the region. And I know it'll be over by the time this airs. We're in, podcast timeland. But do you have those once a year? Or are they ongoing? Tell us a little bit more for those that might be interested in the future.
Great question. So it is once a year per county.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is Lake County is probably will always end up being February, the last week in February.
Okay.
Porter County is normally in the beginning or the end of September, beginning of October.
Okay.
And my desire is to have LaPorte counties to be the end of November.
Okay, great. So they've got some time for those two upcoming this fall and summer, which will be lovely. And obviously, as you probably know, if you need any connections with anyone, we know LaPorte County well. So we will definitely help you connect with anyone you need. That's amazing. And it's so needed.
It is.
We see Portage, the Portage GDC does a lot of healthcare 360, where they'll bring the kids into a hospital setting and show them, but it's one time, one day, one place. So this allows them to reach so many different entities, so many different areas, because you're going to talk to people from this healthcare entity or this healthcare entity or this college. And then that way they can kind of, I think it sounds like, get a really well-rounded idea of all of those opportunities instead of just doctor, nurse, go away. And I think that's so helpful.
And the great thing is, I don't know much about that event that you was talking about, but I know our events start with the 3rd grade. So with that,
these are definitely not that young, and that's helpful too.
Right. So Dr. Buffington from the school city of Hobart, once a year, she empty out her 5th graders in all of 3 of her schools and send her students, because there's nothing like having your students walk around, your 5th grader walking around in a lab coat. These students walk around in a lab coat. It's an amazing 3-day event. And I think for a 5th grader to have that experience is second to none. I have one mother, she's one of my Facebook friends, Carrie. I cannot think of her last name right now, but she's from Maryville High School. She's a teacher. She Facebook.
Is it Carrie Bedwell?
It is.
Okay. I thought that we know her well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Friend of the pod, friend of the company. Yeah. She's awesome.
She is awesome. She messaged, she said, you don't know the type of impact that you're having in these kids' lives.
That's
so
amazing.
I'm unable to speak about another event, but what I will say is that our event goes down to 3rd graders. We have Dr. Shirley from, I think it's Lake Ridge School District. She sends her 4th graders. So she empties out her 4th graders and they come to the expo. So it's an amazing time. And I think our premise is we want to catch the youth, or we want to interact with them when they're younger, because we want to be proactive as opposed to being reactive.
Yep.
And that's really important.
Well said. So through all setting these 3 companies up as needed, it sounds like, as you grew and were able to, what has been some of the big challenges that you faced during all of this?
I think initially going in, it was really just connections. We had our first expo. It was about, no one knew who Regina was, or Dr. Beard now. So it was difficult landing the connections. And it was, one of the hospital CEOs told me recently, she said, Regina, I said, yes. She said, as you continue to grow this, our people will continue to come, more will come. And it had me to think, like, you're right. We're only 2 years old. When this airs, it'll be 3 years old.
Okay.
And they don't know enough to realize what's going on? They come in like, what? I'm here because my job sent me here.
Right.
Not realizing what a typical day will look like.
Yep.
So as podcasts like this and other shows that we've been on continues to go forward, it will definitely help to push our message.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you're overcoming each of those little battles as they come.
Yes.
And saying, okay, how do I fix this? And hopefully giving yourself some grace to say, yeah, I've been here a year. Now it's 2. It'll soon be 3. That's still so young to be as successful as it already is.
Correct.
I think we saw, just even with the growth of the podcast and the annual event, same thing. First year, I was like, I think it's neat. Hopefully others will too. 50 people. Second year, 125 people. Okay, people do like this. And I think that's probably how you feel a little bit too of, I am right. Like this is a need.
It is a need.
I am fulfilling a need. Others are seeing that and then more see it and then more see it. And now it seems like you've got everybody on board, especially in the Lake County area. And as you grow in the others, it's going to happen because people need it.
To be honest with you, Porter County, we saw our largest numbers at.
Really?
Yes, we had 2,500 students in Porter County. We had to turn people away for our high school day. So we have had great success in Porter County.
Incredible.
And a lot of it is due to Audra Peterson. You know, she has single-handedly taken me under her wing and has been an amazing example of what to do and what not to do. You know, she has allowed me to call her up. I don't call her past 8:00. So I've been calling her up like, hey, can you help me? But she has been definitely a blessing. She encourages me. But we have had great success in Porter County.
I love that. That's amazing. So good.
Our last one in Porter County, we had 1,400 students. The one we just did at the Duneland Falls. Your team was there. So Duneland Falls, we had 1,400. And I'm like, why are my numbers like this? It actually went down. But what happened was we split off Porter County and LaPorte County.
Oh,
so LaPorte County, we had 1,200 students. So that 1,200 plus 1,400 gave me my 2,600. So yeah,
incredible.
It has been great numbers. Lake County,
amazing numbers.
Thank you. Lake County, we have our very first expo. We had 1,800 registered students. So we have been doing a wonderful job. You know, to date, since 2022, we have impacted more than 12,000 youth lives. They have learned about healthcare careers. So even if you walk away with one thing, that was still an impartation. And that's enough for us. But that's what it's all about. It's not about me. It's not about Victory for Kids. It's about the community coming together to help replenish healthcare workers. And that's important. In this region, the largest number of employees are within healthcare. So what are we doing to ensure that these children remain in the region if we're not preparing them for healthcare careers?
Yeah. And if you can do both, I mean, goodness gracious, that's amazing. And now they're connecting with those local groups and it's healthcare based. And worst case, they find out it is not for them. But then I think that we've seen this 100 times through time, right? There's so many kids that grow up thinking they know what they want to do and they go through a lot of schooling and pay a lot of money for something they end up never doing. If you can nip that in the bud at 5th grade, heck yeah, 8th grade, even in high school, but you're getting them in or out of the right career for them or teaching them earlier than ever before. And we, talk about it often. We work with all of the schools locally. We all of our coverage that GreatNews.Life does for schools is all done for free. We don't charge the schools. They don't pay us a dime. We'll keep it like that forever. But that's our goal is we want to really showcase the work that the students are doing, the sports, the plays, the everything. We just did a post the other day about, I can't remember what, it wasn't Science Olympiad, but it was something not sports. And it's just fun to see us sharing those things about other items. And that's why is because we want to help those kids learn as much as they can, get out there as much as they can, experience as much as they can. But that's what you guys are doing. You're getting them into that stuff so early. And then hopefully they'll go to school for something that they really love. If it's not healthcare, okay. But hopefully you're not getting into something you don't want to do and you can get into what you really are meant for early on. And hopefully that's healthcare.
And to sum it up, it's about creating a vision. I can deal with you coming to our expo and then deciding you want to go into banking. If nothing else, did we at least stimulate you enough for you to get a degree?
And to think about your future.
To get some sort of trade. That's enough for us.
Absolutely.
That's entirely enough. But the real key is I need to be proactive. I cannot wait until you get to high school and then go, let's do career development. That's fine. But let me catch you here in the younger grades to motivate you. And hopefully we can get more students on an honor roll. Maybe I'm just also too optimistic, but that's what
I don't think so. I think it's very realistic. I think you're spot on.
Thank you. It's about creating a vision. You know, when you have something like, if you're saving for a house, you don't just throw your money away, because in your head, you have somewhere you're trying to go to.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to give our kids, our youth, the same exact thing.
Because we are expecting them to go to college and pretty much in high school decide what they're going to work on for the rest of their life. And obviously that's not always the case, but oftentimes we're at least expecting them to have some clue of what they want to do for college, thus their career, when they're 16, 17, 18.
Correct.
And we haven't in the past done a ton. When I was in school, we didn't do any of this.
Correct.
So I just had to sort of take a couple clicky tests on the computer for them to tell me what I might be good at and then what I might enjoy and try to figure it out on my own. But that was, 17.
Yeah,
and I got to figure it out in the next year.
Correct.
That's so intense for someone. And if we start that younger and they're just exploring these opportunities, it's such a great idea. And then we're starting it earlier. So there's just less room for error.
Yes. I had one student walk around. He put on his lab coat. It was at the Portage event. And he goes, I'm going to be a scientist. That's fine. I appreciate that. He may be that one student that may find a cure for cancer.
Yep.
To help eradicate cancer, all because he put on that lab coat and it changed his life.
Yes.
So you just never know what's getting ready to happen over these 3 days.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps. I love it. So this is a big question, and maybe it's too big of a question, but how, with all that said, how do you balance your career with your personal life and your passions and make all of that work together?
Time blocking. So right now I'm in the process of switching it up again. I switch things up often.
Okay.
To see if it works. If it doesn't, let's switch it up.
Yep.
And right now I get up every morning at 5 o'clock. I start my day with gratitude. I walk my entire house just with gratitude, being thankful. And then I go into my meditation time, my prayer time. And from there, I'm in the gym. I don't touch my phone until probably 8 a.m. So if people receive messages from me at 7 a.m., that means I scheduled them the night before. I finish up my day by 7 p.m. So which means that between 7 and 10, I'm relaxing. I'm spending time with family. I'm doing other things like that. But I'm really intentional about my time. And then my daughter, Ayana, she works for the company, and she'll say, I want to talk to my mother, or I want to talk to Dr. Beard. So that lets me know which conversation we're getting ready to have. My son, he's not quite like my daughter. So it doesn't matter if he's talking to Dr. Beard or mom. To him, it's all the same. But my daughter, she really...
Same thing, that blocking for her as well.
So my children are really, and as far as my passions, I love to travel. So I am finding a way to incorporate my passion with Victory for Kids. So we'll be launching a YouTube channel. I think you and I discussed this, and it will be me going to different areas talking. When I say areas, I mean throughout the country. Okay. Talking to healthcare professionals, finding out what they do, what is a typical day like, and then putting in our YouTube channel for people to see it. So it's allowing me to do what I love, which is travel, but also allowing me to also continue what I love doing professionally.
And you're then going to get all of these tidbits for your audience, those kiddos, to see and be like, love that, don't love that, love that, don't love that. What does a day look like? Oh, I didn't realize that. And they're learning. They're learning just as they will in those expos, but ongoing in between the expos. And then the two come together and probably a perfect fit.
Correct.
Goodness gracious, that's awesome. So tell me, have you ever faced moments of doubt or burnout? Like tell me about the tough times and how you handle them.
I think early on in my career, I faced a lot of times of doubt. You know, I came from a family where my mother, my uncle, and her oldest brother were the only 3 out of 5 kids that were not mentally disabled. Wow. So my aunt and my uncle are both mentally disabled. And when I looked at my bloodline, I was just thinking, how can I even get a college degree? I didn't see anything on that side of the family that looked like where I felt that my creator was taking me. And that wasn't easy. You know, I doubted it was very scary. You know, I doubted myself a lot, but then I realized that the same brain that he put in her, that's a nurse, is in me. It's all about what I'm going to do with my brain. And I realized I had to be diligent if I wanted to overcome some things, and I had to work to overcome some things. And then I also got a scripture. I think a lot of times we call it affirmation. And it was, I could do all things. Can I speak?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And that was really important to me because it told me that no matter what I wanted to do in life, no matter where I wanted to go to, I can do it through Christ. So that was my light that helped me to navigate. And it's funny because even now, 20 years later, when I hear that scripture, I know that it's about to be some new territory I'm getting ready to embark on, because he's letting me know that, hey, don't become weary.
Just a reminder.
Just a reminder. We got someplace else to go. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Yeah.
I love that you say that. And it's interesting to me that you start your mornings. I'm seeing some patterns. You start your mornings much like a friend I have. We've talked about her on the pod before. Her name's Regina. She's diligent and so good, where I'm not, at getting up every morning and it looks the same. I'm a 60 to 70% on that. Okay. But she does very much the same. Practice gratitude, does a little prayer or reading, and a couple other things that she does in the morning. That's all about, and she'll go to the same thing. She starts with some gratitude, journaling, reading a few scriptures, practicing that gratefulness. And then she gets to the gym.
Correct.
And you see with successful people, that practice is individually each their own, but overall very similar. And I think it's just really good for your own well-being as well. You set yourself up mentally, preparing yourself for the day. If there's any stresses or you woke up with something on your mind, a lot of those can be put at ease through that process. And it's very smart. I've gotten at least I'm regular at the gym. Okay. I have been for a long time, but I'm not regular with those morning practices outside of that. And I've been trying to do, I have a little baby gym in my basement. So I work out there and I put a journal down there, and it was just, it was some Tim Ferriss, if anybody knows him, podcaster guy, some of his things of write down the things you're grateful for, write down the things that are weighing on you. And then which one of those things that are weighing on you would help the other things go well. Okay. Pick that one to designate a few hours together, not an hour here, a few hours together at one time that day, and then proceed. And so it's like, okay, well, what's weighing on me? X. Okay. If that's weighing on me, whether it be work or personal, how can I devote some time to that today? And then that eases everything, because it's like, okay, this might be bugging me, but I have a little bit of a plan, and maybe it's not a flawless plan, but I have thought through it. I've calmed myself through some of those gratitude things, and I have a little bit of a plan. So I need to get much better practice of that. But I do love that you do that, and that it's so regular for you.
And I had to, running the company's new territory. We're going to South Bend in February also. Yay. So I'm excited. We're getting ready to do an expo in Chicago. We've been invited to do ones throughout the state and also throughout the country. And if we're going to take new territory, my mind has to be right. I have to control my emotions. I have to be ready to lead, and then I'll have to be ready to listen. And I think that's the 2 L's you have to have when you're in leadership. You have to be able to lead, but you need to be able to listen. And they're equally as important.
Yeah. And the listening part is undervalued.
It's undervalued. And we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
We do not, even yesterday, sorry, I have to say this, but our gala is coming up. It's October 30th.
And as you talk through these, you're very motivated. You're very passionate about what you do. I think that's probably very obvious. How do you do that? How do you keep motivated day after day as these things get tough, or as those little things add up a lot? I've seen it in my own world. I'm certain you have it times 10. How do you keep motivated day to day and keep positive?
That's a great question. I think I know I love what I do. So Victory for Kids is still, I feel like, still a baby. Yeah. It brings me a lot of life and joy. And I'm going to be honest with you, probably next week, I won't be smiling as much.
You got a lot coming up.
Yeah. I'll be looking like, you want me to do what? Huh. Okay. And I'm a very honest and genuine person, so I'll tell you where I'm at. However, when the 10th, 11th, and 12th for South Bend come, and then when the 24th, 25th, and 26th for Lake County happen, it's like, this was all worth it. These kids are walking around interacting with the people there. It's like, this was all worth the sweat, the tears. I'm going to cry like, why did I get
Yeah, there's going to be some of that. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And I think as I continue to grow as a person, I'm okay with the world seeing, because a lot of times we get stuck because, as we discussed earlier, we think we're the only one getting discouraged.
Yeah.
So if I can let somebody look at me and go, well, she didn't do all of this, she still get, I do.
Yeah.
I do, but I still talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I do my self affirmations. I remind myself of my biblical scriptures.
Call those mentors.
Correct. You know, place of
Yeah.
worship. I have awesome spiritual pastors. So I'm really fortunate, and they help to keep me calm.
Well done. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is, you're right. We see other women doing all of these incredible things and either think we can't do it. There's no way I could do it. How does she do it? But it's not without stress and tears and happy joy days and not joyous days and all those things. And I think most of us get in this spin of, well, I don't see you crying, so it must never happen. And it's like, well, some will see me crying, just so we're clear. And it's going to happen. I think that's so good to hear, because when we find people like yourself that we can look up to, then we go, but that's impossible. But it's not. It's just that we have to believe in ourselves, reach out to those outlets that believe in us too, to get those reminders and just forge ahead. And you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days and you're going to cry and you're going to yell and you're not going to be happy sometimes, but then you're going to serve 2,600 kids and you're going to go, wow, we are helping literally thousands of kids have a better future.
Correct. And you know how many families we're impacting? So if we didn't do 12,000 students in a course span of 2 years, 2.5 years, each one of those kids, if they have at least one child plus a mate, how many lives we have touched?
Yeah, because that's trickling to all of those people.
Correct. So it's amazing. And then the other thing I want to add in, sometimes you don't have to believe in a dream. I'm just being honest.
No,
you
please.
know, I think we get so caught up with, I got to believe in myself. No, you just got to have a vision and start walking towards it. And over time, you realize that, okay, this is real. I'm really doing this. I set a goal and I accomplished a goal. I think a lot of times we wait until we go, I know this is for me, when that may not happen until you're in it. And we got to think about that.
I'm glad you brought that up, because you're absolutely correct. There's been so many times that the first step is the most important and you just got to take it.
You just got to take it.
And there's been so many times that I felt like that step was off of a cliff.
Correct.
But you go, I mean, worst that happens is I fall.
You fall.
It's going to be okay. Everybody's, I've got people that got me.
Correct.
We're going to be fine.
We're going to be fine.
And then you hear from those other people that say, I think you got this. And then you remember that you probably do.
Yeah.
And that's important.
And that's important. And I think that sometimes we sell a false narrative. You got to have it all together. You don't.
No.
You just got to start walking. That's the most important thing. If you can start making a step, you're headed in the right direction. Everything else will come.
Yep. And then down the line, you start realizing, oh, people think I have it together. Oh, things are sort of working now.
Correct.
But you didn't know that was going to happen. And it's sort of a surprise.
It is.
I have a couple of friends where I'm like, oh, I think that they think that I'm cool.
Right.
No, thank you. Also, I didn't know that I was giving that energy, but I'm super glad I am. And it's just, those things change you. And it's a surprise sometimes where I dove into this event and this podcast. You've heard the story, most have. I didn't even know how to make a podcast, but I knew people that had, and I figured I could do it too. And so we started Googling, literally, Cammie and I, figuring it out. And we did, and we made it work. And we, we didn't know what we were doing, but we figured out. You mentioned Mr. Phelps. He helped us get to this point, because he said, hey, I like what you guys are doing on social during the pandemic. That's how the podcast came about too. But we had a weekly show where we would just go live on Facebook and talk about good news, because we felt like we could give that to people and they needed it during the pandemic. And then he said, I like what you're doing. I have a program that I think could make this even better. And it's the program we use now to film on. That is so random, but it was so helpful. And again, it felt like I was probably diving off a cliff, but I thought, well, worst case, I have a failed podcast. All right. And accept the worst and hope for the best and go in and try my best. And then people are like, hey, the podcast, I like that. Oh, I saw this guest. And you're like, oh my gosh, someone asked to be on the podcast. Are you kidding me? So it's just, I think that I'm glad that you point that out, because I don't think we think about that enough.
And the thing about it is, I feel like, and one thing I've been really transparent about with Victory for Kids is my journey. my journey, my struggles.
People need to hear it.
And I believe that, because a lot of times we see people have made it here, we think it was easy.
Yep. Because you didn't see all of that other stuff.
All that. So I do my best to be as transparent as possible with Victory for Kids, my struggles. Victory for Kids has really helped me mentally, emotionally. It helped to heal a lot of the inner little girl inside of me. So it has done so much for me. So I'm extremely grateful for Victory for Kids. I'm extremely grateful that the visionary gave me the vision for it. So
and you're providing something to the community that you would have liked to have.
Correct.
And I think that is really important. Again, it's why the podcast started was I have a few mentors I've gained through my years here. Previous to this career, I didn't have any of that. Correct. I didn't have people to look up to. I didn't have mentors that I talked to regularly, especially in the business side. We've got family and friends that all help us be humans and grow. But on the career side, I didn't have that. And now I want to provide that. I want to provide what I could have used.
Correct.
And you're doing the same, but with career base that is so strong. It's lovely.
Thank you.
Refreshing.
And I thank you. I think we're all here to answer a why. You just have to figure out what's that why. What I just put it better. We're all here to be a solution. You just have to figure out that solution. You have to figure it out. And I think when you tap into that, you begin to feel like you completed your purpose or you found your purpose. But your purpose here is to be a solution for something.
And you just got to figure it out.
You just got to figure it out.
Well said. So let's talk about you.
Okay.
What are some of your passions outside of work? And how do those, you mentioned before, that 7 p.m. kind of cutoff time and that 8 a.m. start time and the kind of having your time in between. What are some of the passions outside of that work? And then how do you kind of interlace or contribute those within your balance or your well-being?
Great question. My favorite passion, you can look on my Facebook page, everyone has seen it. I love to travel.
You were just like in Portugal or something, weren't you?
Barcelona, yes.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Barcelona, Paris, and Portugal, Lisbon. I love to travel. And I actually set my travel schedule very much like the way I did when I was a professor. I'm off in the summertime, so I take a whole month and will do a lot of different trips.
Yes.
I will then also take off around Christmas time and do a lot of different trips. We're planning a trip for Christmas break, the college week.
Okay.
We're going somewhere. So this is what I do. I detach myself from the world. You will email me. You may get an out of office. I remember to put it on there. But if I don't, you won't get an out of office. I apologize. And I don't mean it to be unprofessional, but I am learning to give myself grace. I'm a human being. So because of the podcast, I may go and set it now because I can pre-schedule it. But neither here nor there. Right. But I do my best to take those moments to enjoy life. And when I travel very well, meaning that I don't work. And it's intentional.
You really turn it off.
I turn it off.
And that helps. I think you come back 10 times stronger when you can really turn it off, power down that life and really enjoy yourself and your family and your time off. And then you come back 10 times better.
Yes.
I love that. Where are you traveling? So you've got those, you just did that trip. Do you have a plan for your trip this year?
I do. We're going to Italy for Christmas. We're going to spend, I want to say almost 2 weeks in Italy for Christmas. Amazing. And that's going to be our big trip.
And probably pop over like Rome, but also some other places too. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, all of that. Are we going to have an amazing time? I'm just trying to figure out where we're flying into. If we're going to fly in and out of the same place.
Okay.
How are we going to get from one place to the next place? I want to do an Airbnb because I want to have a nice little Christmas dinner there. And I'm just really looking.
So you'll be there for Christmas itself.
I will.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My parents are not allowing this yet. They're still my mom is a very ritual traditions type person. So we have Christmas dinner where I've literally had every Christmas dinner of my life, which is their house, which was my grandparents' house when I was a kid. So we would always go there when we were kids. And now we still go there now that my mom lives there, and kind of overtook my grandparents' farm. And that's just the way they want it. And my husband and I talk about this all the time. Like, wouldn't it be amazing to have Christmas somewhere incredible? Our whole on my side of the family is heavily Scottish.
Okay.
Let's go to Scotland and celebrate, or my mom's still really traditional. So we're trying to keep that for now, but I see some travel for me in the future. And I love that you're doing that and doing it well and shutting it off.
Yes.
I think you need all of those.
Yeah. And we was in Barcelona for Christmas. Can you imagine to wake up on Christmas morning in Barcelona?
I can't, honestly. This is so incredible.
But it was amazing. It was truly an amazing, I think it was away for 8 days. It was
And is it you and your
amazing.
whole fam?
It is.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It
And you have
was
2
amazing.
kids, right?
I do.
Okay.
My daughter is at Ivy Tech in Sellersburg for nursing.
Okay.
She graduate in May. So I think it's like May 5th she'll graduate. And my son is at U of L, University of Louisville, and
Oh, I love it.
down in Kentucky. And he graduates next year. His major is chemical engineer. So, but it was pretty neat to see him. I said, all you do is eat all day. And he was like, what's your point? Like, this is what I do. So I always teach and keep working out, go to the gym in the morning time. But yeah, I have really been blessed. I mean.
And do you have a bucket list place that you haven't got to go yet that you're really excited about?
I don't believe in bucket lists anymore.
No?
No.
That's interesting. Tell me more.
I don't. I've been to Puerto Rico, and one of my favorite, I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to Italy before. I've been to London.
Let's not
I've
make a
been-
list of it. Let's just get it done.
Right. I've been to Dubai. I want to say either 2 or 3
Ooh,
times.
really?
Yeah. I enjoyed it, so I just feel like if you want to do it, why not do it? It may not be this year, but can you plan for it within the next 2 years? So
Okay.
I
And
just
what's been
don't-
your favorite travel so far? Do you have one?
Amsterdam, I enjoyed
Really?
it. I loved it. But Puerto Rico, I love the culture. It was so rich. The cobblestone street. Old San Juan was amazing. And the group we went with, he was a Puerto Rican native. So he took us around Puerto Rico in such a way that was just fascinating.
Yeah, it's hard to find anything better
It
than
is.
that. I mean, the actual
Mhm.
tour guide
Yeah.
from the area.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we hung out like in Old San Juan's, a neighborhood behind Old San Juan, and it's a neighborhood of houses. So we're just hanging out there for 4th of July. They're partying, they're making their own liquor.
Oh.
It was an amazing.
The food is probably
It
incredible.
was amazing. The food,
Ugh.
even the culture, it's rich. And I so enjoyed myself.
I love that. That's great. So tell me some of the influential people in your life.
Okay.
Particularly women, obviously we shoot for, but it doesn't matter. Who are those people in your life that have really impacted you heavily?
Of course, my father, I mentioned him earlier. I'm a daddy's girl. So
I love
is,
that.
I don't know how to say it, but
That's for life.
right. It is.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
really is.
So I am definitely a daddy's girl. But my pastors, I have some amazing pastors that really taught me my faith and helped me to understand a relationship with God. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so transparent now, because in my walk with God, I strive to be as transparent as possible.
Great.
So it allows me to open up. My grandmothers were amazing. I had one that felt like I could do no wrong. And I had another one that felt like all I did was wrong. So
maybe they balance each other out.
They did,
Okay.
and I felt myself really close to both of my grandparents. My mother, she, we was on food stamps when I was younger. So I feel like, and she makes sure I understand it doesn't matter where you come from. You don't have to look like where you come from.
Yep.
So that was really important, staying in the line for government cheese. I recall being on Section 8 housing, and to see where I'm at now, I think my heart goes out to people. And even back when we first started Victory Training, we didn't even turn a profit. And we gave away almost 200 book bags to the residents. My Aunt Banks, you was mentioned earlier about giving. My Aunt Banks said, don't be afraid to give, Regina. And I'm like, lady, you give your money.
It's so interesting to see that when we're younger and then see how our mentality towards it changes as we age. Like we just get smarter. I don't know.
Yeah. And I wasn't raised to be a giver. My father he didn't like people, but I do my best to give whenever I can. But I also had to create a balance, a balance to make sure that you're not just taking from me, that I'm giving to a worthy cause or something that I feel led to be a part of. So that was really important. I think my pastor, my current pastor, Pastor Andrea Hudson, she's so amazing. I really do appreciate her. I have emailed her many a time, messaged her many a times, like, hey, how should I wear my hair? What should I do about this? But just to see the way that she walked and carried herself with a lot of grace. My aunts, Rochelle Beard, LaWanda Parrott, my aunt LaWanda Parrott, she was the very first woman I had in my life that had a degree. And she made sure I understood the importance of education. I watched her go back to school after having her first child and get her MPH. So she was into real estate. Here she is, 24 years old, with rental property. And it's like, wow, this is something to aspire for. So it was really a great mixture of people. I feel like along the way, I took something away from each person to create my own. So it's been amazing.
Well done. I love that so much. And you've mentioned mentorship a little bit already. So it sounds like you have a couple and you are for a few.
Yes.
How does that play into your life? What kind of role does it play in your life? And tell me a little bit about both sides of that. Who are those mentors for you? And then how have you gotten into mentoring yourself for others?
Great question. So currently I'm not mentoring.
Okay.
When we actually started Victory for Kids, I had to put that on the back burner because Victory for Kids has been phenomenal. And I think that's the best way of saying it. It has grown in ways I didn't even imagine it to grow.
And you're almost tertiarily sort of mentoring 2,600 kids, right? Because maybe it's not direct hand to hand from you to them, but they're getting mentorship through what you're working on.
That's a great way of looking at it. I appreciate that because I feel bad, like I should be giving to someone else, but I guess I am giving to them, but just not directly.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you please know
like
that.
you.
You really are. It's making a big impact. And I think, I've gotten to learn more about you all just through working with you more and covering some of those events and things. And it's been really interesting to learn about. But I do think, like I said, I think all kids need more of that young input for their future, where we're really, and neededly so, just trying to get them through high school because it's really tough and it's really straining and all of the needs and demands of other students and what you need to learn and homework and all the things. But I think they need that. And this is a great way to get it. And you're now sort of helping so many more than you could if it was on an individual basis.
Yes.
Yeah. And how about those mentors for you?
I have two. Right now it's my pastors. They are amazing. Especially my spiritual father, Archbishop William Huston III. He has been a breath of fresh air. He kicks me off. And one day I did something. He said, "That wasn't right, Regina." He responded back as quick. He said, "That wasn't right, Regina." I'm like, let me correct myself.
Okay.
Because we all need those people and those leaders in our life to tell us you're not leading well. And that's important. So,
the hard truth is still the truth. And if it's in an instance where I'm not making the best decision, I want someone that I trust. And know well to tell me that because they're going to tell me in a palatable way. It's not going to be hopefully overly harsh. And I can trust that their opinion's real.
What I do very well is I look in the mirror and I let myself know who I am and what I'm not, what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And that's really important. But I think that's also helped to even build my confidence even more because what I'm good at, I know I do very well. I don't need to go out and get somebody to meet with you and interview for me because I can do it. However, I do need somebody to be my CPA and pull my numbers and do all of my back office bookkeeping because numbers isn't my friend. So it's something to think about, knowing what you're good at and what you're not. It's really important.
Self-awareness is so important because then you can, if you own what you're not good at, number one, most often there's people on your team or people around you that can help you be better or can do that for you. But if you're not willing to admit it, that's not going to happen.
And then that's how you build a good team. Good team is really not built with people that look like you and have the same strengths as you. I have one lady in our Michigan City location. She's amazing. She organizes like nobody else. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate you. I have my receptionist in our Hobart office. She's awesome with telling people, no, we're not going to do that today. I'm like, you said that to them? I did. They called and they asked a question. I gave them the best answer. I'm like, okay. But they receive it well because she's a cute little 60-something-year-old lady. So it's really cute. So we have to know what we need in order to build a team. And if you don't know,
hire for your weaknesses.
Correct. And that's so important.
We just talked, it's so funny because we just talked about that today in our office is we have a woman, Shelby, she's Cammie's work bestie. And she is very process oriented and similar. It is not my thing. I know that I need processes. I'm not good at identifying them, putting them into place and running with them. I will run anyone's process. If they tell me, hey, you do this way, I am down to use it and I will, and I'll do it happily. I just know it's not me. I'm not the person to make that. She is. And so it's so great because we'll talk and I'll say, just tell me what do we need to fix? Where do we need to fix it? And she's like, well, here's the thing that you candidly do. That's weird and annoying. And she says it in a very calm, nice way. So I'm not offended. But I'm also self-aware enough to go, yeah, you're right. And you tell me how to fix this. And then we'll put in place whatever system you think is right or whatever organizational skills we need to put in there. Whatever it is, we can do it because I'm aware you are correct.
Yes.
But if I'm fighting that, then we don't get the solution and that person feels like they can't talk about it. I want them to feel comfortable telling me. And hopefully I'm self-aware enough that it's not even going to sting because I'm like, yep, you are absolutely right. I am terrible at that. And that's okay. And we can't be great at everything.
But then my thing is I do my best even before you even tell me where I'm bad at to even know. Yes. Because I want to, and I hate to say what I'm bad at, what's not my strengths. Let me say it like that.
Well done.
You know, because my thing is I truly need to know myself in such a way that I can get the help I need. No matter if that's therapy, no matter if that's, I need an outlet because right now I feel like, woo, you know, which is why I took the trip that we took. I knew that February is going to be a huge month for us. So my thing was, let's go away. Let me get my mind together. Let me come back, relax. Let me be in a position to win for the month of February and to give back to my community. So I think self-awareness, I always say looking in the mirror, making sure you love what you see is extremely important. Yeah. And then don't stop dreaming. I'm sorry, I think I'm giving my ending thoughts, but don't stop dreaming. Okay. That's amazing. I think a lot of times as we age, we stop dreaming. Yeah. Why? Who told you can't dream anymore?
Yeah.
Who told you it's not over? As long as you have life in your body, you have another day to have one more dream to come to pass.
Yeah.
So I'm really big on dreaming.
I love that. Great. And how do you preserve that sort of sense of self while you juggle all of these different roles?
My relationships, my friends, you know, relationships are really important to me. And I'm learning how to keep my business relationships separate from my from my personal relationships. And that is a win for me. Okay. Some people I feel like, yeah, you may be a great business relationship, maybe even a great business, I hate to say friend, but colleague. Let me say it like that. Whereas you don't get that side of me where my friends get that side of me. And I do my best to separate all portions of me. You know, it's the woman that has everything, but then it's the leader inside of me. It's the businesswoman inside of me, but all of them is still a piece of the woman. And I have to identify which piece I'm operating in now.
Yes. We had, I think we talked about this on the phone one day. We had one of our All About the Girls themes. The event has a theme every year. And one of the themes was This Is Me. Yes. And that's exactly why. I felt like there is Saturday Jenny, but that's different than Monday Jenny, right? And it's hard to find a balance. I'm going to use air quotes there because I don't think there's really a balance. I think it is blending all of that together to where Monday Jenny, you see some Saturday Jenny in that, and vice versa, where I can still be business Jenny on Saturday because it's part of me. Correct. And vice versa, because it's also part of me. And my friends can see me at work and not go, really? That's weird. Or vice versa. But I can keep them separate to keep a little bit of sanity too, and turn some things off when I can and that sort of thing.
And that's what my 7 o'clock is about. It's about me just being Regina, not being an entrepreneur. It's about just a woman, just enjoying myself, whether or not that's watching TV, you know, taking a nice bath, just whatever that is to give me some sort of peace, to keep me connected and feeling whole. That's what I do after 7 o'clock. And that's really important.
And this is not all on the script or the questions or anything like that, but because I'm trying to get into this world, I am a bit of a workaholic just by nature as a human. Same with any career I've had or any job I've had. This is really my main career. How strict are you on that 7 o'clock? Is it really every day? Are there days where you're like, I just got to work extra? Or is it, there is nothing that needs me after 7? How strict is that for you?
To be honest with you, I am doing my best to get to, there's nothing that needs me after 7. However, last night I was up to midnight doing emails, you know, in my head, they needed to be done. But the reality, I knew I had the podcast there and I had another event this morning.
Some time, time going to be stolen.
But when I woke up this morning, I didn't feel like myself. And that's what I realized. The feeling I get from being from 5 to 8 with just Regina is like nothing I've ever experienced. It's a high. and it's a great feeling. So my thing is, if I want to keep that, I got to keep certain things in place. Because this morning I woke up, I felt like I wasn't centered. I felt like I was moving in a lot of different directions. And I was like, what's going on? And I was a little emotional. But then I think about, I went to bed late last night. I didn't have my clothes set out for the gym. So I realized that it brings me joy to have certain things in place, that consistency.
Yes, I feel that in my soul. I completely agree. Like when I make that time and I make that time for me, whether it's night and in the morning and that practice, energize is a great way to say it. You just feel good.
Correct.
You're on point. You've got your stuff together. You feel really great.
Correct.
And I'm terrible at the phone. I definitely will email at like 5:30. I need to not do it.
Correct. So,
but I do. And yeah, I just need to turn it off.
So, and I agree with you, because my concern is, well, I forget to send this message. I do send later. Everybody get a send later. So that way you're not calling me back before 8 a.m. My emails, you may still get an email at 7:00, but I don't even open up my emails. And I started doing this feature. I actually cut off my emails. Not the alerts, but I go into like manage email on Gmail, and I push the button to make sure my emails are off. So they don't even come through until I go back at all until 8 a.m. And I've been really consistent about it. And it helps to relieve a lot of my anxiety.
Yep.
And I'm like, what's different? But I'm learning how to see what works for me, what keeps me healthy, what makes me feel like I'm the leader that I am.
Yep.
And those are the practices that I had to incorporate into my daily walk.
I love that. That's so helpful. Absolutely helpful. And what advice would you give to women who you think are struggling to find that balance, and maybe that's the advice, or feel like maybe they're falling behind in one of those areas? Maybe they're behind in their professional life, or they're behind in their personal life. What is your advice?
And the funny thing is, I struggled with this question.
Okay.
And I struggled with this question. And I said that I really want women to take a moment to do a self-assessment.
Okay.
Because the key word in the question is feel. And is your feelings valid?
Ooh, great point.
Let's
actually look at that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's the very first thing, because you may be thinking you should be here as a mom, when actually you get your kids from school on time. You feed them every single day. So you
are,
but you
might feel like a B, but you're actually an A,
you're
striving to be an A.
And that's important. So I really do think the very first thing is to go through a list and make a list of what you do good at, what your strengths are, and then begin to ask yourself, am I as bad as I think I am? Because sometimes we see this one little picture, and we think that's the whole story.
Yeah.
When actually that's a feeling. That's a mindset that you think you can not comparing to Jenny. Jenny has 1 million followers when I speak it. Jenny has 1 million followers. So I should have 1 million. But Jenny started on Tuesday. You didn't start to Saturday. Today is Sunday.
Yes.
So you have to really take the time out to ask yourself, is this real? Or it's just not real.
And you don't know that person's journey either.
Correct.
And so that is the biggest thing I wish that I could kill in every woman, is the comparison. And I think the motivation and the things that we absorb from those comparisons are great, but how do we cut out the negative of that comparison?
Correct.
Because we don't ever know. If I started 10 years ago and you started 4 years ago, it's just going to be different.
It's going to be different.
You shouldn't be at that level.
Correct.
You shouldn't be where that person is because you started later, or vice versa. And and your upbringing and when you started,
Correct.
and all of that background plays into every moment of our lives.
Thank you.
But I'm just looking at what you're doing and saying, well, I'm not there, so I'm a failure.
Correct.
And it's just crazy.
And that's why I struggled with the question. And I had to realize, even now, I'm like, how do I want to answer it? Just tell the truth. How I really feel is, the question is, where are you at? What are you good at?
Yes.
Is this a valid? Because we could have started together, but like you just pointed out, because of what the hurdles I had to get over mentally, emotionally, I'm doing good for me.
Yes.
I had a teacher at Ivy Tech when I was taking my prereq. She said, Regina, even if you just take one class a semester, just keep moving. And I think we underestimate our progress because in our mind, we aren't in the nursing program yet. But the reality of it is I'm still working towards that.
Yep.
So that's really important.
People always, I just heard this. It was a quote from someone famous, I think Gary Vee. And he said, people always overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and
Correct.
gravely underestimate what they can do in 5.
Correct.
And we want it now.
We want it now.
The world we live in is now. And if I can't do it in 2025,
Correct.
I can't do it.
Can't do it.
And that's just false. And it might take a longer period, but you could have been growing in 4 other places while you're on this trajectory. And I was only on this trajectory.
Correct.
So you've grown more,
Correct.
air quotes, as a person than I have, but no one's seeing that.
Correct.
And so then it's just, well, if we're both in the same race and now I'm mad at you for winning a race that you didn't even sign up to race.
Correct.
And it's just, why are we doing that? Let's cut all of that and really focus on who we are, where we are, what we're doing, where we can improve. There's always room, but also let's not forget to look at what we've accomplished and be proud of that.
And that's why I would challenge that person not to be looking at what I have or haven't accomplished. What have you accomplished? Because a lot of times that set us up for gratitude. And we realize that I have done more, like going to the gym. How long you been going to the gym?
10 years, probably.
10 years. I just started going on Tuesday. I'm using it as an example.
Okay.
There's no way I can go what Jeannie can do the Stairmaster, use an example, for 30 minutes on level 5. I should be able to do it. It's not
just different.
possible.
We're in different planes at that point.
Correct. So I need to give myself, and the word I'm going to use again is grace.
Yes.
To know that I'm getting up every morning. I'm showing up for myself and I'm doing better each day.
And nothing else matters.
Nothing else
Where
matters.
anyone else is does not matter because you are doing this thing
myself.
for you, about you, at your pace and what makes
Correct.
sense for you.
When we first started victory training, people would call me and say, you know what your competition is doing? It was a customer called. I said, my competition? She said, yeah, your competition. I said, what's that? You know, the school down, I was like, what's that? And she didn't understand what I was saying. So then she goes, you know, I said, what makes them my competition? I said, I apologize, but I don't believe in competition. I believe that there's enough bread, different varieties of bread, where you can go in there and choose which one you want.
Absolutely.
So I have my own lane, my own people that are with me, and then it's going to remain me. And so does that other. I can explain all this, but my point is, we don't always think like that. We compare everything.
Yeah.
The shoe size, you know. And my thing is, stay in your lane, enjoy your lane,
and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just work hard on your goals, and then you'll accomplish all of them.
And and celebrate.
Yes.
The other woman if she had hit her milestones.
Yes.
And we have to begin to celebrate more because it's a gratitude moment.
Absolutely.
To see them doing it means that, okay, I can do this. I can accomplish this. Okay, I'm next. You know, we got to get that message in our head where when someone else is winning, that's telling me it's possible. Our brains are exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Only question you need to ask yourself is, what are you going to put into it to have the same results?
Yeah. And I think a lot of times our brains, survival mode, say, you're winning, so I can't.
Correct.
That's false.
That's false.
We can all win. Like you said, there's enough bread.
There's enough bread.
It will work, especially when we stop worrying about where I am in line compared to others.
Correct.
Let's celebrate all of our wins. There is enough for everyone.
Correct.
And I think the more you celebrate those people, they're going to celebrate you, and we all raise faster. Correct. And we all do better because that's helpful for me. I love the positive feedback.
Correct.
This is so random, but I changed my profile picture today on Facebook.
Okay.
No reason. I had this cutesy little flower background, little picture I had taken on this background. I just had it up for a while. And I was like, oh, I think I got a good picture in San Diego. Let me just try to change that picture really quick to freshen it. The feedback from all of my lady friends it was amazing. I think in 10 minutes, I had all these comments like, you're so pretty. I love your smile. Oh, there's my Jenny, you know, and it was so fun because it candidly wasn't creepy old men.
Correct.
It was my friends, my lady friends telling me, love you, great pick. The greatest thing in the world. They don't care that my teeth are bigger than theirs or whatever. Who cares? They're just saying, hey, great pick.
Correct.
You look great. There's the smile I love, whatever it is. And it's just like, that's what I want so much more of that's what we're about. What this podcast is all about is how do we build each other up and kill all of the whole competitive thing. Correct. And I know a lot of folks say like, well, the competition helps me. I think that we most often think that.
Yes, we think that.
I don't know that it's true.
Correct.
Because the issue is that the competition becomes the only thing.
Correct.
And it's too big. So then I'm competing against you and now I'm not celebrating you anymore. And that goes to the wayside and that's bad. And so let's compete against ourselves.
Correct.
And not worry about all the other stuff, except for when we're cheering them on.
Correct.
We're all running our own race,
Correct.
but we act like we're all in one marathon all together and there can only be one winner.
And think about this. You bring up a good point. How many mental health problems will go to the wayside if we focus on ourselves?
Yeah.
The anxiety, a lot of that is because what someone else is doing. We're looking over the fence trying to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
The depression. You're depressed, not so much of what's going on in your life. Well, maybe, but you have compared it to someone else.
Or what you're seeing on social media isn't what you
Correct.
have. And therefore, even though that's not technically really true,
Correct.
it's what you feel.
It's-
And then you get
There go that
built
word
up.
again.
Yep. And
So
it's just
is
a
it real?
feeling. It's not real. Yeah.
And that's the problem. So I think that we would do ourselves justice. And you're making a great point. I love it. That we need to stop comparing.
Yeah.
My journey is not your journey.
Yes.
You know,
We're so different. Everybody is so different because it is every factor from the day you're born
correct.
until this day. And every piece and every day plays
Yes.
into where you're at and what you're doing and what you're thinking and how you
Yes.
think and how you react and all that stuff.
Life choices.
It's just,
yes. All of that.
Where
know.
you grew up.
Correct.
Was it rural? Was it city? All of that stuff plays into it. So no one human can just say, well,
No.
I'm competing because we're the exact same. It's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do better.
Yes.
We need to
Just
do
kill
better.
all of that notion. Celebrate all of the women around you. Celebrate the ones you don't even know and run your own race.
And then my other thing is we're all great. So let's come together and impact the community. Better yet, let's come together and be a part of the Youth Healthcare Career Expo.
Yes.
That's what we need to come.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. And
No,
also
I love it.
all about the girls. But that's what we need to do.
We do. You're absolutely right.
Because
Because that's where we make big change. Is when we
Correct.
all come together for all of those goals. All of our goals.
All of our goals. And
Yep.
that's so important. But oftentimes we have an isolated viewpoint of our journey. In actuality, this right here is helping me.
Yeah.
This right here is helping me. I so love my work with GreatNewsLife. You know, one of the best investments, this is off script, actually joining the family. I think I'm part of the family now.
Yes, you
So
are.
let Chris know that I'm part of the family.
Chris, you got another one. We all are. It's okay.
But it was one of the best investments. You know, you all have helped to increase our visibility.
Thank
People
you.
was like, who are them people? And I think one of your questions is, what are we going to be doing? We're looking to increase brand recognition. So it was just, I went on a field trip with my students and we went to the Dina Barbara White Center. No mention of Victory for Kids, none whatsoever. Whereas now people are like, yeah, I was there. You saw me in WI Life. You saw me. I was there. Yeah.
Good.
I'm like, okay, thank
That's
you.
what it's about.
It is what it's about.
Yeah.
You know? So I thank you all. You all are doing a wonderful job
Thank you.
putting out a great product in Northwest Indiana. And it's one of the best investments we have made so far.
That
And
makes
we
me
have
so
had
happy. Thank
media
you.
people. We had a media person who have even connected us with Queen Latifah.
I saw
my
this.
Facebook
Yeah,
page.
yeah,
Yes. So we have had an amazing journey. But as far as regionally, you all are second to none. Kudos, great job.
Cammy, cut this for a promo. I love it. Thank you so much. Testimonial.
I love the work that you all do. And then to realize you and I was talking and he started off a lot like me.
Yeah,
You know, it's
absolutely.
like, wow.
You guys have very similar
He
stories
was
of
telling me about
there's a need, there's a hole, this is
Correct.
missing. I want to fill it. No one thinks I can. Watch me.
that. Watch me. And that's been, to be honest with you, that's what keeps me motivated.
Yep.
Tell me what I can't do. Watch it get done. This
That
what you
is
told
Chris,
me.
our founder in a nutshell is just tell me I can't. I'm going to show you I can.
And then right now it's like, you know, I feel like you can't tell me what I can't do because no, you're not going to do that anymore. So
Yeah.
I don't have that issue. And that was a real serious complex, you know, and all the degrees I got, it was, I don't want you to be able to put a lid on me. I was really intentional about a lid. You will not keep me down. Wherever I want to go to, I want to go. You know, you will not
no
hold me
ceilings.
down.
Yeah.
Correct. So no ceilings. Thank you very much. That was really important to me.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. So legacy and future,
Mhm.
what is one piece of advice that you would
Okay.
give to your younger self if you could go back in time?
I think the best one we talked about earlier was enjoying the journey. I found myself so depressed over the journey, like, why is not happening so
Try
soon?
to get to that place.
Yes. And now that I'm here, I'm like, okay, well, I learned how to pay my bills because I walked through the journey. I learned how to be a mother because of the journey. Everything I've accomplished, it's been because of the journey. And I feel like walking through it, you don't realize that. You think it's all about the destination when it's not.
You're right.
It's and I wish that I can go back and say, hey, Regina, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And it's something that I didn't do. And people tell you that, you think it's such a cliche, but it's so much truth into that.
It's one of those things I think that we hear a lot from successful people growing up, and it almost seems false or just kind of BS until we get older and we're like, no, really looking back, I should have enjoyed the journey and paid more attention.
Correct.
Stop just only looking at that spot there where the red pin on the map.
Correct. Yes.
And actually look at the distance in between and the things that will happen along the way, because that's where you're going to learn the most, develop the most, grow the most. But you're right. I have looked at the end point forever. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, you keep hearing from all of the fancy rich people that if you enjoy the moment you start enjoying the journey, you learn more and you're successful. But it takes time to realize that. So yes, that's a great one. Tell all the younger folks that. That's great.
To enjoy the journey. I mean, and even now I find myself, I will go somewhere, I've been there 10 times, but I still want to see along the way what's different. There's something different. You know, you have to train your eyes to see something different when you're in an old place. And that's about gratitude more than anything.
Yeah.
And you have to really search for it. You know, you want to be common with going places you don't realize there's something there that you never seen. This is nature. It may be a different bird today. You never know what it's going to be, but you need to train yourself for it.
And the gratitude is a big piece of it. That's really smart. And what's next for you? So you mentioned personally, professionally, what's next?
Oh, great question. Personally, I want to travel so much more. And I'm saying it laughing, but I do. I love to travel. The trip to Italy is big on our list.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
I am too. I'll post it.
Yes, please.
I normally don't post stuff because I have a seesaw about posting a lot of my personal life. But I think people actually enjoyed it. I had some teachers and principals at the schools in Hobart like, make sure you share with us. I'm like, well, you really want to see my
We want to take your trip with you. Yeah, we want to be a little bit of a part.
Correct. So for one of the first times, I was like, wow. And it felt so foreign, but I realized it's social media. This is the day and age. So I also like put their different restaurants that I love. You can almost tell the ones I love, like 5 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. I gave rating. So when someone go back, you can go, okay, I like this restaurant, I like this. No, she said she didn't like this. I'm gonna walk past this place. But that's important. And then I was talking to Audrey Peterson. She was like, you got me wanting to go to Lisbon, Regina. I said, do you? She said, yeah, I want to go to Portugal. I said, okay, Audrey. So you just never know.
It wasn't even on my list of places I plan to go in the next couple of years, but seeing your posts about it, I'm like, I didn't know, but this looks amazing. And it is. It's such a great eye opener for other folks.
It is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then as far as professionally, I think the real thing is to impact more children's lives. You know, that's really important for me. And Victory for Kids have been primarily self-funded. We had some sponsorships along the way, but it's really have been primarily up until about this year, self-funded. You know, we have given away more than $20,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
Again, self-funded. And I'm not saying it for a pat on the back, but our desire is to remain impactful in the community. So if that requires us to use our funding for it, we've been blessed and we're able to. So it's been amazing.
It really sounds like it has, and you guys just keep killing it. It's fantastic. You're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So before we get to our speed round question, tell us what is bringing you the most joy in your life right now?
I think 2.
Okay.
My children. I'm loving seeing where we started at. The mother of 2, 20 years old, just praying that I can get them to go to Andrean High School.
Yeah.
Both of them graduated from Andrean High School. 2017, my daughter Ayana. 2019, my son Jamel. So to be
I
able
wonder
to
if we
see,
have their graduation photos. We cover graduations for all the high
Really?
schools. We probably have their grad pics.
really?
Yeah, I probably do. I will send you. You said 2017 and
Yes.
2019.
Mhm.
We'll send you. I don't know them, but we'll send you the links and
Okay.
see if they're in there.
Thank
Because we
you.
cover all of those. Same thing. We do it for free for all the
Really?
schools. So we might have their pics.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. But so that's an accomplishment to be a woman walking through my mother's kitchen, living with my mother, going, I want my kids to go to Andrian, and for both of them to come out of Andrian, and it wasn't easy. My kids were in private school for almost all of their education.
Wow.
And I didn't make a lot of money. I made $8 an hour for the first 5 years of their life while they were in school. But it was a sacrifice. I felt like it was an investment,
Yeah.
And what I would always say jokingly was, this is my 401k plan. They're like,
Yeah.
what? This is my investment for my future. If I set them up right, I'm taken care of for the rest of my life. And I was really intentional about that. And going back to, what's the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I forgot to. You said you had joys in life. You said the first was your kids.
Okay.
And what was the second?
The second one is Victory for Kids.
Uh-huh.
When I say that as a nurse, it was okay working the floor. It was okay. And I enjoyed Ivy Tech. I enjoyed working at VU. I enjoyed University of Chicago. I don't have a job I didn't enjoy. I found some type of joy with the job. However, I enjoy Victory training, Victory at home, Victory staffing. I enjoy those. But the impact and the lives that we're transforming, 12,000 lives. And that's not even including the expo we just had. I want to say it was 1,400 students in Porter County. Or is that so technically that's from
Yeah.
April.
Now you're at 4,000.
Huh?
Not that, wouldn't that be 4,000 then?
No, we did
26 plus 14.
12,000.
Oh, 12,000. Yeah. That's even a bigger number.
And
Yeah.
That's right. But yes, it's
Crazy.
amazing to get emails, these Facebook messages from Carrie and other people like, you're impacting my children. I'm loving it.
And you're getting the feedback, the positive feedback, which we all know how often people do positive feedback. It's so rare.
Yes.
So if you get 5, there's 50 out
It's
there.
50 out there.
And 50 plus, right?
Correct.
And that's the ones that are willing to even think or move in that direction of who is this and what happened, and
Correct.
or aware of
Correct.
what happened in their kids'
Mhm.
day to day. And
Thank
it's
you.
just, that number is so much huger than what you're hearing.
Yes.
So I hope you know that, because
I appreciate
I
that.
think the Carrie Bedwells of the world will say something nice because they're
Yes.
nice humans that know
She's
that there's
amazing.
not enough good spoken in the world, right?
Right.
She's a friend of our world because she knows we're the good news people,
Okay,
and she's
right.
very much attuned to the same.
Mhm.
But not everybody says that. So
Correct.
if you got a couple saying it, you just know there's so many more out there
I
that just
appreciate
aren't
that.
saying that.
You
So
know,
that's great.
Thank you. About 2 months ago, some woman, she came in my inbox and she said, I thank you for what you're doing. She said, I just had a stroke. She said, I'm working on my doctorate degree. She said, once I get my doctorate, I'm going to come on board and help you. I said, thank you. She's a nurse. So no, she meant like volunteering. I said, thank you very much. So I have received a lot of support, admiration. I feel as if Victory for Kids is seen by the community, and the love for Victory for Kids is outstanding. I didn't even imagine when I was walking into it, to be honest with you. Victory for Kids have been sitting on my desk since 2000 and maybe 13, give or take.
Really?
I didn't believe in myself. And even when I started, I didn't believe in it was it, if that makes any
Yep.
sense. So that's why I always caution people like, well, don't get caught up waiting until you believe in it, because you may not. You may have to start walking and go, okay, this.
Yeah. Take a chance.
Correct. And bet on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Well said. Yeah. And that's what I think more need to do.
Yes.
You're right. We can. We just need to.
We need to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What if you could describe yourself in 3 words? What 3 words would they
Ooh.
be?
So, okay. Compassionate, genuine, trustworthy.
Well, yes. Agree. Agree. That's yes, perfectly said. And what do you hope other women take away from hearing you and your story today on the podcast?
I think the main thing is a dream. And I've said it like 10 times. I'm sure Cammie can tell me it was probably 40.
No, but that's great. Let's drill it on.
But to dream, and I didn't have dreams like I should have had when I went through a period of not having dreams. And to accomplish all my professional dreams by the age of 40, it was like, wow, we really need to go back to when we was a little child and dream again.
Yes.
No matter what it is. And then the thing about it, we get so caught up, well, I can't get it done tomorrow. I'm not asking you to do it tomorrow, but I am asking you to work on one piece of the puzzle per year. That means if you want to go to nursing school, I don't expect you, not in the program, to complete it in 1 year, but take a prereq, take 2 prereqs, do something. So in
take
5
a baby
years,
step.
correct. And we miss our moment oftentimes because we forget to just start walking. Have the dream, go after the dream. If I could do it, you can do it. And that's really important.
Oh, yes. Okay, are you ready? Oh, wait, do we have a buzzer?
Okay.
Oh, it's down there. Oh, let me see. If I get in personal space for a minute.
That's okay.
I think it's
I'm looking.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our buzzer. It's
All right.
You have 5 seconds to answer the questions.
Ooh, I'm ready. What's the prize? Do I get a cup?
You don't get buzzed.
Yeah, I get a cup.
Yes.
I get a cup. Okay, let's go.
Love it. Okay.
All right.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It will be a shrimp bag from the new place that just opened up. The seafood place by South Lake Mall on the other side.
Yes. I don't know the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it's over. It's by
Cooper's Hawk.
Is that it? No.
Okay.
It's on the other side of US other side of 65.
Over there.
The
Okay.
brand new place that just opened up.
Oh,
Low Country.
Low Country.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Amazing. I will eat that.
I have not been. It's amazing.
It's amazing. I love it.
Plus, I really like shrimp. So
No?
I do.
I love it. Oh,
Shrimp. Yes. I am
may
a
go there
seafood girly.
today.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Love that. What's your spirit animal?
Oh, that's a good question. What's a spirit animal?
Like an animal that you feel like if you were turned into an animal tomorrow, what animal would you be? Like, what's the animal that's sort of like you?
I guess I would go with a panda.
Okay.
Soft and gentle. That you also can be.
I was thinking that for you.
Were you really?
Yeah. Because I think they can get a little crazy
They
if they
can.
need to be, but they are overall very kind
Yes.
and nice and gentle.
Mhm.
And they have power behind them,
Yes.
but they're kind and nice and gentle.
Gentle.
Huh. If you could swap lives with any fictional character, who would it be?
Question. Fictional character. Oh, Matlock.
Oh, good one.
I love Matlock. I love solving the mystery. I love solving
And
the
like you
mystery.
said, a lot of what you do is almost like solving
Yes.
those problems. And
Mhm.
so it matches well.
Yes, I love Matlock. Him, Perry Mason, and then I always say my auntie, Jessica Fletcher.
Okay.
Murder, She
Yes.
Yes.
Murder, She Wrote.
I love Murder, She Wrote. I mean,
I just saw Murder, She Wrote. I was somewhere and it
Mhm.
was on the TV and I was like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
Murder, She Wrote. I haven't seen this for a
when
long
I say
time.
I love it. Then now they have, I know we playing, I'm sorry.
No,
But now they have the Matlock TV show with the lady.
I
And
have
it's
not seen
cute.
this. I know it's a thing, but I haven't watched
I
it.
like it, but it's still not like my
It's-
grandfather.
Okay. We're used to that. Yeah.
When I say I love Matlock, he is, the same suit. He
Yep.
has to get his Polish, what is a hot dog? I think it's a hot dog. And it was just so amazing. I love Matlock.
That's cool. What is your favorite smell in the world?
Lavender.
Good one. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I have the cutest grandpa.
Really?
Yes. Oh, I'll show you pictures. She is so pretty. She's
Aw.
gray. She's a pit bull. She's so gentle. She's amazing.
Cute. I love it. What's your most used emoji?
Purple heart.
Love it. What is one talent that you wish you had?
I wish I could sing.
Ugh.
And I
do
tried
too.
every time, and I even had a pastor that told me, "Don't join the choir, Regina." I said, "Huh?" He said, "Don't join the choir." So
he said that.
I was
She
like,
did.
"Don't join it." She said, "Don't join the choir." So, yeah.
They know you well.
They know
It's
me
okay. All right. What's one talent you wish you had? Oh, wait. Did I just say
You
that? Yeah.
did. Mhm.
What's your guilty pleasure TV show?
Ooh, guilty pleasure TV show. That's a good.
Is it also Matlock?
Well, I guess so. Because people like you watch Matt. Yeah, I do. But I would say my NCISs. I love all. of
Good
them.
one.
I can, and it's a mystery I like to solve. I can figure out what's going on.
Yes.
Why they did it, the who done it. So I love a good mystery.
That's a good one. I'm
And
NCIS and SVU both.
Elspeth. I think she's a lawyer, and
This
she's
is so familiar. What's that from?
Elspeth is another one.
Okay.
I like to watch.
Is that a show?
It is.
Okay. I didn't know the name of the show, so I must be thinking of something else.
Mhm.
Interesting.
It's pretty good.
Where did I go? If you could instantly master any instrument, what instrument would it be?
The horn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a trumpet, saxophone, something like that.
Get
Okay.
out the way. It's just,
I love
it's
a good
nice
horn.
and bold.
Yeah. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
If you could have dinner with any one person, alive or dead, who would they be?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think it's so many. My father.
Okay, that was close. Good one.
Yeah.
I was like, 1, 2. Oh no, please. That's a good one.
My father would be one. Just so to hear his thoughts about what we're doing as a family to preserve his legacy. So yeah.
Oh, that's a great answer. What's the weirdest thing in your fridge right now?
Weird. Blueberries.
Not too weird. That's okay. Yeah.
Because I just started eating them. I'm trying to eat healthier.
Okay.
That's why for me it's like,
I got blueberries in my fridge and I usually don't.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out if I like them or not. Like,
Okay.
I like them in my yogurt, but I'm trying to figure out if I like them in my smoothies.
Just like eating that. Yeah.
Yes.
Like the flavor.
Yeah. So it's a little different.
Okay. That's a good one. I keep losing my place. If you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
That's a good one. I would say X-ray vision.
Oh, good one. Okay.
I want to see where you heard it. I want to see your emotions, your real emotions that you don't always show.
Okay.
So I really want to see who you are as a person.
Like the inside of a person. Okay. And what's the last thing that you Googled?
Here.
Google directions here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did because I went over to Wall Street and I was like, but this not it. I went back and I said, oh, it's West Street.
Okay.
So yeah, did I get that correct?
Yep, you are correct. Yeah, that's good. I can't remember. I can't believe you even remembered it. That was like 2 hours ago or so. And last one, you're almost there. What's one word your best friend would use to describe you?
Jesus. So one of my closest friends is Krisha Norris, or Krisha Jones now. She's been Jones almost 20 years and I still call her Norris.
Same with one of my besties.
Right.
Her name changed a long time ago and I don't care.
Particular.
Okay, particular.
Yeah, she
I
says
like
that often. I'm like, who are you talking about? She's like, you, Regina. I'm like, me? She's like, yes, Regina. I'm like, no, that's not me. I don't think I'm that way.
I'm not particular. I know what I want.
Thank you.
We go. Yeah, it's okay. I think that's totally fair.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to make sure that she see this clip and she knows that.
We'll cut it out for her. We'll give it to her.
I appreciate that. Because she needs to see this. Like, Jenny understands me. Why don't you understand me? No, I'm teasing.
Now, don't get me beat up by your best friend.
I know, right? She lives in Texas, so she's not coming up anytime soon.
I love this so much. Anything else we should mention before we kick it off?
So in this year, we would have given away scholarships because we have starting something new. It's called Giving Wednesday. So at our Youth Healthcare Career Expo, on Wednesdays, we have on this particular Wednesday, we have February 26th, we have the CTE directors, Audra Peterson, Tim Summers, Ms. Catherine Brotnex, and then also the other CTE directors will be submitting us 3 names. And we'll be looking and selecting one of the 3 students to receive a scholarship, $1,000 scholarship. So our desire is not just to have an expo, but to have an experience. And I think that's one of the reasons why it has been successful. It's not just an expo. It's not just a career fair. It's an experience. And I think, yeah, so it's a blessing.
Absolutely. Well said. And how do people connect with you, Victory for Kids? How do they find out more information?
So you can either go to info@victory, 4 kids with a z.net. And I'll say it again, info@victory, 4 kids with a z.net. Or else you can just go to victoryforkids.net on the website and then send us an email there. We're also on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I'm working on how to do TikTok because I don't know how to do TikTok.
Okay.
So I'm working on how to figure out how to do TikTok.
Yeah, you've got some cool content. I think TikTok will be fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be
Appreciate
great.
that.
All those kids in those lab coats.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And you all took some amazing shots of that. It's amazing. You all do a wonderful job. I just want to say that again.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
I'm a pen clicker.
I
I
see.
get in trouble a lot.
Yeah. And I can tell you do it all the time, but she was just like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You know, stop clicking your pen. Well, because we'll even be in meetings and she'll be like, quit clicking your pen. What are you doing? Or I'll break the pen. because I click it and then it breaks. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. That just happened. We were in a really big meeting. This is so random, but we were at a meeting for a partner of ours. We thought it was like 4 people that we're friendly with, that we know really well. And it ended up being like 14 people.
Are you serious?
And they were like, what is the partnership that we have? Can you tell us all about it? And I was like, oh, I didn't know I was doing this, but yes. And I dive in and I'm, talking to everybody. And finally I was like, I broke my pen. Do you have another one? And she's like, yes. Like, stop clicking your pen. Like, I'm so sorry.
Does it relax you?
I'm a fidgeter.
Okay.
I think just by nature, I'm very hyper internally almost all of the time. And so over time, I've gotten really good at like, don't be weird.
Right.
But I still have a couple things.
Okay.
Our founder, Chris, is the same, but he has a spinny ring. His wedding ring is actually one of the ones that spins.
Okay.
He spun this is his second wedding ring, because his first one, he spun it until it broke.
Oh, wow.
Like it split down the back.
Right.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, and he had to get a new wedding ring because he broke it. And I've never had like an outlet like that I found that works really well. But so whatever's kind of around. A partner of ours just gave me a fidget pen. So this part spins. So you can just do this instead, and then you're not clicking or breaking anything. I just don't have it.
That's really nice. I've never heard of one of those.
Yeah. And because I made a joke, I was doing a presentation. We do social media boot camp down here a couple times a year, where our partners can come and just learn about social updates and what's happening in the space. And I started laughing. I'm like, sorry, I have a thing with pens. And I was joking about it. And then she's like, oh, here, I have this for you. Use this. It's a fidget pen. And I'm like, thank you so much. This is so nice. And I do use it when I have it. I'll spin it, but I need to just keep it with me more.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Thank you so much, Regina, for being here. You are a light in the community. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to see you kind of fulfilling this role that was so needed in our community. So thanks for all your work. For all of you out there, connect with her online. Check out Victory for Kids. It's really a great group. Obviously, tune in next month. Like, follow, share, all of those great things. And we'll talk to you next month. Have a great day.
Thank you.